I don't think I really understood what equality really meant. Because, like everything, depending on where you are, depending on how intense the seeking is, depending on how strong separation feels, equality will mean different things. Empowerment will mean different things. Authority will have a different purpose and value. So it's just constantly changing. I know I say that a lot, but now that all of that collapsed and that the meaning in everything has gone, and there's just emptiness, everything is empty. This life that's full of life. This life that's full of life. This life that's just absolutely full. And I don't know what I mean by full. It's just boundless and edgeless and at complete rest. The movement and the sound are completely still. So back to equality. You know, that meaning was important in different areas in my life. When I was bullied, I could feel the inequality. I could feel that I was less than. I could feel like the underdog. And felt really shitty. When I saw the equality in men and women, I felt like I was less than. I felt like I needed to prove myself. I felt like I needed to act more masculine and be able to do the things that men were doing. So I got into a pretty masculine field. I was industrial design, where you make stuff. You make products. You make things with your hands. You learn how to be crafty. You learn how to use tools. And then I got into engineering with that. And most of the people in the field were male, especially at the time. And I constantly felt like I had to prove myself. it was probably that I did have to do extra work, more work compared to my male colleagues, in order to get the level of respect that was automatically given to them. And I don't say any of this with like distaste, or like I don't feel anything toward it anymore. It's kind of just the way society is, and I'm glad that I felt the way that I did at the time. I'm glad that that pushed me to it just pushed me in a lot of different ways. And then when I felt like I was abused in certain relationships, I again felt like there wasn't equality. Why did people have to step on me in order to feel good? Why did people have to make other people feel less than, in order to feel more powerful? Like, I never really understood that, because I never felt the need to do that. It just never felt good. So then you come to spirituality, and you see these gurus and these teachers that are massive. They have a massive following. They're massively praised. They probably get a lot of hatred as well. That's inevitable when you're in the spotlight and you have that much attention on you. There must be a lot of negativity as well. And, I haven't experienced that, so I don't know exactly what it's like, but sometimes it turns into dominance. It turns into another authority. There will be a projection that they have something that you don't have, but on top of that, it seems like they play into that. And they want you to believe that they really do have something special, and that you are still less than, and you're still not there, but they're there. They have the answer. They have the truth. And some seem to want to keep projecting that and increase this sense of inequality. And obviously it's not all, it just depends on the character. It just depends. And so that can equally happen in the radical message as well. Like, you can put down the spiritual path and you can make fun of these gurus. And you could get angry with how much money they're making and how misleading some of it can really be. And how much bollocks they're speaking. And to an extent, it's true. So now I'm at a point where all of that has fallen. Even the love for this radical non-dual message has fallen. I used to feel this immense love, deep resonance with it, and now it does nothing for me. I don't reject it, but there's no need for it anymore. And so it's just fallen away. And now I'm really left with nothing. Like all of the hobbies were wrapped around spirituality, radical non-duality, and now all of that has gone. I don't read any books. I don't listen to anyone. There's just no need for it. And it was sad in the beginning because my identity was, that was a big part of my identity, and there was a lot of comfort in it. And now there's just peace. There is just equality. Every single human body is on an equal playing field, an equal level, and it was always that way. But in our apparent lifetime, we can't help but measure people. Think of people as higher than us, lower than us, better or worse than us. It's partially how the brain functions, it compares, but when there's an identity behind it, making actual true meaning out of it, then this kind of roller coaster appears. I'm better than, I'm less than. I'm better than, I'm less than. Where do I fit in this group? How can I find value in this group? How can I feel comfortable in this group? This type of equality can't be felt until the sense of a here, a me, a sense of separation from everything else. When that dissolves, then there is only equality. There's nothing above or below anything else. A judgment is just a judgment. It has no true energetic meaning behind it. It's all just light. It's all just play. Nothing is desperately grabbing onto anything. It just can't. It just doesn't happen anymore. So this is it's hard to use the word freedom sometimes, because only in contrast to the sense of separation can this be described as freedom. But when it's just this, it's just this. It's simple. It's pure. So, all of these things that say the way to liberation, finding your true self, enlightenment, awakening, whatever term or phrase is used, it's all for the person. So when the person disappears, then the need for those terms dissolve. The meaning and the resonance behind those terms dissolve. The desire to really change or fix anyone is not really there, because everything is just perfect the way it is. Not on a mental level. But when someone is in front of me, a response just happens. Helping might happen. I don't call it helping, but whatever action just happens, whatever words are just spoken, it's all coming from emptiness, knowing that everything is okay already. That the you that's not there, is perfect just the way it is. So uniquely beautiful. And sometimes I'm aware of how that can be interpreted. It's not like I love everyone. It's not like I want to unconditionally love everyone. I don't think that's even possible. This body doesn't have the capacity to do that. It's just that there's just no one here. So I can't see anyone anywhere. It's just these bodies. And a body is just a name we give to this seeming organism that moves and miraculously functions. And we give a name to it. So if I see suffering, something will be said, something will be done, maybe advice will be given, techniques will be given, a guiding the system toward more rest will be given, perhaps. I can't predict, but it might happen. And there's no more opposition to that. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. There is an absolute love for everything, including humanity. Humanity isn't separate from anything. Humanity is this. So basically, when you melt into nothing, that is the true empowerment. No one is here feeling powerful. It's very different. It's nothing that you can really imagine. It's just so simple. The simple wants of the desires that can't be, it's not intellectualized. It just is. Speaking happens, action happens, decisions are made. It doesn't feel like I'm out of control, that I don't have control. All of that disappeared. All of that is for the person. And for a time that might arise, the sense of not being in control, having no control. That's fine. That's kind of part of the dissolving process, if you will. But here, there's almost a seamlessness. Even when there's a struggle, there's a seamlessness. Because there is no one acting. Acting just happens. There is no one speaking. Speaking just happens. You're constantly disappearing into this nothingness. And in a way, perhaps that was always happening. But now it's just clear that no one had the actual free will to make anything happen, to hasten anything. It just really feels like that. And so when there is suffering, when it does really feel like I'm here, I'm real, I'm doing, speaking, thinking, saying everything, that isn't a problem. That means I think it's important to have a sense of control then, to know that you are in charge of your life and you can take action. You can do what feels most true in that moment. In a way, empowerment is important for the self. Self-love is important. learning how to self-soothe is important. If trauma or stuck energy is making life extremely difficult, action can be taken to remedy that. And then perhaps when there's less suffering, when there's less fighting against life, when there is a softening, perhaps then it could become more clear